Noah Adisa's hands trembled as he studied the photograph the investigator had handed him. 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, were frozen in laughter. The boys carried his very face. The sharp jawline, the wide almond-shaped eyes, the crooked smile that once made strangers trust him instantly. It was as if someone had copied and pasted his childhood into tiny bodies dressed in denim overalls and Spider-Man sneakers. He had no plan. Words felt brittle in his throat. Yet he knew he had to face her. Not to demand, not to claim, but to finally speak the apology he had swallowed for years. To beg for peace, forgiveness, or at least closure. When the door creaked open and he stood before her again, the weight of his choices nearly crushed him. "Lena," he whispered, voice splintering. She froze, her body rigid, her eyes hard with disbelief. His own eyes blurred as tears spilled down his cheeks, and before he knew it, he was on his knees in the middle of her living room. The children had retreated, peeking curiously from behind doors, whispering questions only their mother could answer. Lena remained where she was, arms crossed tightly across her chest. "I'm sorry," Noah gasped, his words broken and raw. "I let them destroy us. I let them destroy you. I should have protected you. I should have loved you openly. But I was a coward. I thought I had time, thought I could bury it. I never did. Not for a single day." His body shook as sobs clawed out of him. "I missed out on the best part of me. I missed them. And I hate myself for it." Lena's eyes narrowed. She remembered. At 19, she had been a housemaid in the Adisa mansion on Banana Island, moving through marble corridors as if she were invisible. That was where Noah had first spoken to her, 23, arrogant, fresh from university abroad. Their friendship turned secret, then intimate, until one night of whispered promises left her pregnant. When she told him, his face turned to stone. His mother spat venom, flung an envelope of cash at her feet, and accused her of trapping their son. "You're nothing, girl," she had hissed. "Go back to the gutter you came from." And Noah? He said nothing. He stood silent as his family ripped her apart. That silence had been louder than any insult. She left that night with a broken heart, swollen belly, and a vow to survive, even if it cost her everything. For years she scrubbed floors, braided hair, and starved herself to feed her babies, Jonas, Joel, and little Maya. They became her reason to breathe. She never told them who their father was, not because she hated him, but because she refused to let them feel rejection. And now he was here. The same man who once abandoned her was now crumbling at her feet, begging for a second chance to breathe. She said nothing. Her silence was her shield. But deep in her chest, her heart pounded against the walls of survival, unsure if it could bear the weight of the past crashing back into the present. From the 38th floor of Adisa Group Tower, Noah stared across the glittering skyline of Victoria Island. Lagos pulsed below him, noisy, alive, relentless. But here in his glass cocoon, it was sterile and silent, just the way he preferred. At 34, the world called him a self-made mogul. They didn't know about the billions his father had funneled into his early ventures, or the sacrifices his mother made to keep their family name untouched by scandal. All they saw was the ruthless man who never smiled, never flinched, never lost. He built companies like machines, efficient, impersonal, merciless. Relationships were liabilities. Love was weakness. He dated models, actresses, heiresses, but none touched him. Dinners ended in cold goodbyes. To his board, he was simply choosy. In truth, something inside him had shut down years ago. Since Lena. He buried her name, her memory, her ghost. Or so he believed. Yet in quiet moments, her face returned. The girl with trembling hands and soft laughter. The girl he abandoned to protect an empire he didn't even want. While Noah soared into luxury, Lena scraped through survival. In a cramped 2-bedroom flat in Ajagunle, she balanced a bubbling pot of egusi soup on one hip and her wriggling daughter on the other. Jonas and Joel wrestled on a threadbare couch, while Maya tried to fix her broken school shoe with a rubber band. "Dinner in 5 minutes," she called, her voice firm but gentle. This was her reality, sacrifice. She scrubbed other people's floors by day, braided hair by night, and studied when exhaustion let her. At 26, she was finally in her final year of nursing school, a dream that had once seemed impossible. She lived on grace, grit, and the fire of motherhood that burned through her bones. Her 3 children mirrored their father in ways she couldn't hide. Jonas and Joel carried Noah's stormy eyes, while Maya inherited her smile. Every time her daughter asked why she didn't have a daddy like her friends, a part of Lena shattered. Yet she pressed forward. By day she attended classes. By night she worked shifts at Heritage General Hospital, where a senior doctor, Dr. Efima Bamadil, had noticed her brilliance. "You remind me of myself," the doctor told her once. "You burn quietly but fiercely." That's Ray. Her life was a cycle of blood, textbooks, school runs, and midnight tears. Her eyes always held shadows, but she smiled for her children, who adored her fiercely. At just 6 years old, they protected her in small ways, packing her lunch, checking her alarms, combing her hair so she wouldn't look tired. She thought she had buried Noah forever. But fate had other plans. Because one routine medical checkup at Heritage General was about to bring him crashing back into her life. 6 years earlier, when Lena had left his family's mansion in tears, Noah had convinced himself silence was protection. His parents had made it clear, "You have an empire to defend. Do you think a maid with bastard children belongs to the Adisa legacy?" His father backed. His mother's voice was colder. "She's beneath you." So he said nothing. Instead, he let them barter his life away. Sandra Osei, daughter of Senator Osei, became his wife. She was beautiful, entitled, and loud. From the moment they were engaged, she reminded him daily that she was the prize. Her designer handbags, her impulsive trips to Paris and Cape Town, her champagne breakfasts in Dubai, Noah paid for it all. What he could not pay for was peace. Sandra mocked him, cheated openly, and paraded her disdain. "You're lucky I even tolerate you," she sneered once. But he stayed, numbing himself with work, his soul starving. The final fracture came when he found photos, Sandra, naked, sent to Michael, his closest friend and business partner. When he confronted her, she laughed. "Stop pretending to be shocked. You knew what this was." That night, he left. He drove into the rain-soaked Lagos night, his thoughts roaring louder than the engine. Questions cut into him like knives. Why did I let them control me? Why didn't I fight for Lena? Why did I waste 6 years in chains? He didn't see the truck until it was too late. The crash nearly killed him. When he woke days later in the ICU, battered and broken, the doctor's verdict shattered him completely. Nerve damage had left him infertile. His father stood stiff, his mother pale. Their empire was secure, but Noah's future as a man, as a father, was gone. Rage erupted. "You ruined me long before this accident. You made me a puppet. You never loved me. You loved what I could give you." For the first time, Noah wept. Not as a CEO, not as a son of privilege, but as a man crushed under the weight of his choices. And then fate twisted the knife further. On one of his hospital nights, during a routine wellness check, a nurse walked in. She spoke gently, not looking at him at first. Then he whispered her name. "Lena." Her body froze. Her eyes met his. And the years collapsed into a single unbearable moment. Lena fled the hospital corridor that night, her breath ragged. Seeing Noah again had ripped open wounds she thought had long scarred. Worse, running into his mother, the same woman who once spat venom at her, nearly broke her. She clocked out, trembling, and walked into the night as though fleeing a fire. Meanwhile, Noah's mother entered his hospital room with her usual sharpness. "It's her," she said coolly. "The maid. She must have kept the child. If she did, we can claim them. Even if you can't father children anymore, you'll still have an heir." Noah's face hardened into a storm. "Are you hearing yourself? After what we did to her, you want to steal her children." "This is about saving what's left," she insisted. "You're a devil," he spat, his voice shaking. "You destroyed everything good in my life. Get out. I never want to see you again." When Lena returned home that night, her children sensed her unease. Maya, half asleep, asked softly, "Mommy, are you okay?" Lena forced a smile. She hugged her children tightly, whispering to herself that survival was enough. But destiny wasn't finished. Within days, Noah hired an investigator. The truth was undeniable. Lena had 3 children, his children. When he arrived at her flat, his knees nearly buckled as the twins opened the door. Their faces were mirrors of his own. Maya appeared clutching a crayon drawing, her eyes filled with innocence. And then Lena stepped out of the kitchen, a bowl of yam porridge in her hands, freezing when she saw him. "Lena," he whispered. And once more, he fell to his knees. "I don't want games, Noah," she told him firmly later, arms crossed. "I have 3 children, a job that drains me, and a life I built from ruins. If you want to know them, not me, them. And if you're serious about staying, then yes. But this isn't about you and me. It's about them." Noah wept again, promising never to take it for granted. The weeks that followed were awkward, but slowly the children let him in. Jonas, cautious at first, began to trust him. Joel peppered him with endless questions. Maya asked if he could braid hair. He learned, fumbling but willing. And for the first time, Noah felt alive. Noah's parents tried again. "Give us custody," his father demanded. "The children can grow up in wealth, and you return to Sandra." But Noah laughed bitterly. "You never built me. Lena did more for me with one look than you did with all your millions. I'd rather have my children's laughter than your headlines." He turned his back on them forever. With patience, Noah built something new. He showed up for school events, washed dishes, helped with homework, and remembered Maya's favorite color. He became not a CEO, but a father. Slowly, Lena's walls began to soften. One rainy evening, as Noah stirred stew in her kitchen, Lena finally spoke. "I don't see you as the man who left me anymore. I see you as the man who's been fighting to return ever since." His heart stopped. He pulled out a velvet box, his hands trembling. "No speeches," he whispered, dropping to one knee. "Just this. Let me build what I was too blind to fight for before." Her eyes filled with tears. Yes. Their wedding was small but radiant. White roses lined a garden aisle, their 3 children dressed in matching ivory. As Lena walked toward him, she didn't cry. She smiled, the smile of a woman who had survived storms and now walked in sunlight. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, their children's cheers were the loudest. Years later, Lena, now Dr. Lena Adisa, opened her pediatric clinic, Hope Spring, a gift from Noah. The house was filled with music, drawings taped to walls, and laughter echoing through corridors once cold. And then, a miracle, Lena was pregnant. Against all odds, despite his injuries, Noah was to be a father again. When she told him, he dropped to his knees, this time in gratitude. They named her Charm. Noah carried her everywhere, no longer the ruthless tycoon but simply Charm's daddy. Together, he and Lena built a legacy not on money or power, but on love, love that had been buried, resurrected, and chosen again. And in the quiet Lagos night, as they sat hand in hand, Lena whispered, "We saved each other."